Welcome to Monday Fire, your 5 to 7 minute spark of hope, motivation, and truth to kick off your week. I'm Nickey, also known as the Rev, and today we're stepping into something that will shift your entire outlook. That's right, we're talking about faith. Faith isn't about having all the answers, but it's about trusting God when the way isn't clear. It's about holding on when the road gets dark and the breakthrough feels far away. You see, if you're walking through uncertainty, feeling stuck, or even wondering how to keep going, this Monday fire is exactly what you need. You see, faith doesn't require full understanding, but it will always require full trust. You don't have to have all the answers to take the next step, but you do have to believe that the God who called you is still faithful and that He's working even when you don't see it. So here's our focal point for our lesson today. Faith doesn't mean you see it all, but it means you trust God through it all. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when circumstances say stop. It's what fuels your hope when fear wants to actually steal your joy. Hebrews 11:1 reminds us that faith is the substance of what we hope for. It is the very evidence of things that's not seen. Let me give you some context about our text today. Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 is known as the faith chapter. It actually celebrates Old Testament heroes who actually trusted God even when they couldn't see the outcome. You see, our author, Paul, or a close friend of his, wrote to encourage believers to actually stay strong in their faith despite challenges, showing that faith is confident trust in God's promises even when things are uncertain. Here's the big idea. Faith is the bridge between where you are and what God has promised. You see, even if it shakes, even if you can't see the other side, trust builds the steps under your feet. That's why you can walk by faith and not by sight. That's what Peter did when Jesus called him out of the boat. He kept his eyes on Jesus, and because of that, he was able to step out of the boat and walk on water. See, faith doesn't need clarity, it just needs confidence in the one who called you. And this is our text today, Hebrews 11:1. I'm going to be lifting this scripture up from both the Message and the NLT Bible. The Message Bible reads it in this way. The fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we can't see. NLT reads it in this way. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. This means faith is more than just a hopeful feeling. It's a firm foundation, the rock that you and I stand on when everything else feels shaky. It's what gives us a handle on the invisible things, the promises, the hope, the unseen plans that God has for our lives. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we live by believing and not seeing." This scripture reminds us that faith is about trusting God's unseen work in our lives, choosing to believe Him even when circumstances don't line up with what we expect. Matthew 17:20 says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, that's all God requires. We can have the capacity, the power to say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you and I. See, faith, even in the smallest measure, has incredible power. It's not about the size, y'all, but it's about trusting in God's ability to do the impossible through and in us. That leads us to our first point. Faith is a foundation, not a feeling. Let's be real. Some days your heart is heavy, your mind is exhausted, and nothing seems to add up. Maybe you lost a job, received a bad report, or even cried yourself to sleep wondering if God hears you. On days like that, feelings lie to us. They whisper doubts and fears, but faith, it speaks louder. Faith says God is still in control. The Message Bible says faith is our firm foundation, not soft or flimsy, but the rock that holds you and I steady when life continues to try to shake us. Remember, faith isn't about what you feel in the moment, but it's always about what you choose to believe despite those feelings. Here's the tagline: when nothing makes sense, faith says, stand here. And that leads us to our second point. Faith is a handle on the invisible. What do you do when you can't see your way out, when bills pile up, the doctor's news isn't good, or the door you prayed for continues to stay closed? You see, faith doesn't give you the whole blueprint, but it gives you something to hold on to. It's like reaching into a fog and grabbing a rope that pulls you forward. Some of you are in a season right now when your prayers feel unanswered. You've been fasting, you've been serving and you've been trying to stay the course, staying faithful. But yet and still, the breakthrough still hasn't come yet. That's where faith grows, not in the answer prayers, but in the waiting. Faith says, even when I can't see it, God is still at work. Think of it. Think of Abraham, called to a land he never seen, but trust God anyway. Or that woman with the issue of blood who reached out in faith to touch the hem of his garment, not knowing what would happen. You see, faith is not wishful thinking. It's a spiritual confidence rooted in a God who never fails. So you don't need to see the full picture to take the first step. And that brings us to our final point. Faith is how we move when sight stops. Faith is forward motion. It's what gets you out of bed when grief continues to pin you down. It's what helps you forgive when you want to hold a grudge. You see, many of us have been paralyzed by disappointment, praying but not seeing answers, obeying but still facing loss. Sight says, this doesn't make sense. Faith whispers, keep going. Keep going, my friend. Faith doesn't deny the storm, but it refuses to be defined by it. Faith walks us through the fire, knowing God is holding our hand every step of the way. So I came by today, dropped by today to tell you that you are not alone in your struggle. Even when you feel unseen, God is working in the unseen, because faith doesn't wait for the storm to pass. It walks you right through it, holding God's hand. And these are the three truths that I want you to take away from our text today, to take away about faith. Faith will often feel risky, but it is never wasted. Every step you take towards God, even unsure, is always going to be honored by Him. Faith doesn't erase fear, but it just overrides it. You might be afraid, but faith empowers you to move forward anyway. Faith isn't about perfection, it's about pursuit. It's okay to have questions and doubts, but you got to keep coming back to the one who holds all the answers. And here's our application for this week. Speak it, live it, reflect on it. Speak it, declare, I walk by faith and not by sight. I trust God with my next steps. Live it. Take one bold step this week in an area you've been hesitant. Faith faith. You got to faith it till you make it, and reflect on it. Write down something that you're trusting God for that you can't see yet. And here's the declaration. I don't know about you, but this is my declaration for this week, and I pray the same for you. My faith is stronger than my fear. God is working in the unseen for my good, and I don't have to know it all to trust the one who does. I don't plan to fake it till I make it, but I plan to faith it till I make it. And that's your Monday fire. So if you're ready to walk by faith and not by sight, this word is for you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss your Monday fire. And go ahead and put in the chat what you're stepping out on faith for. Next week, we're talking about momentum, because sometimes, y'all, the greatest move of faith is just refusing to stand still. So walk with confidence, remain strong, trust God with every fiber in you, walk by faith and stay on fire. I'm Nickey, also known as the Rev, and I'll see you real soon. Walk in faith, and God bless.